Hi,
Hello everyone, this is Stef.
and this is Lo.
And we are Slango. On this podcast, we're going to take you on a journey through different languages and cultures.
Because language is life, and Slango is living the language.
But
So, what are we talking about today?
let's find it out.
Okay.
Living the language. Slango.
Hello everyone, hello Rocketers, welcome back to this new episode of our podcast. Today I'm delighted to talk about wine. So thank you Lorenzo because he let me do this episode by myself because I love wine and I could talk about wine for so long. But the idea of today is to give you just like some basics in order for you guys to be able to describe the wine when you drink it. Okay, so this month was all about to have. So when we go to a bar, to a restaurant, to a pub, and we want to order for a glass of wine, we could say, I will have a glass of wine, I will get a glass of wine. So, and also last week there was a major event here in Italy called Vinitaly. And here the idea to give you the vocabulary to describe your experience when you drink a glass of wine. And yes, I will also demonstrate you something. I'm a pro. So I want to start with like very basic vocabulary, meaning wine can be white, red, rosé. Yes, we use the French word. And it can be sparkling, okay, or still. It could be very sweet or dry or semi-dry. In French is demi-sec, which I think is very important to describe wine. Right, so I took some notes because I want to tell you so many things. Let's start talking about how we make wine, okay? So wine is made by crushing grapes to release juice, fermenting it using yeast, like the one we would put in a pizza dough, okay, which converts sugars into alcohol, and aging it in vessels, okay, like oak barrels or steel tanks. Red wine ferments with skins for color and flavor. White wines is pressed immediately to remove skins. The process concludes with filtering, bottling, so we put everything in a bottle, and aging. Okay, so I'm gonna take you through the process. So let's start. Right, so the wine process begins with harvesting or picking, right? After the harvest, the grapes are taken into a winery and prepared for primary ferment. At this stage, red wine making diverges from white wine making. Why? Because red wine is made from the must, so the pulp, including the juice, right? Of red or black grapes, and fermentation occurs together with the grape skins, which of course impact color, flavor, and tannins to the wine through the process of maceration. White wine is made by fermenting juice, which is made by pressing crushed grapes to extract the juice, and the skins are removed and play no further role. Okay, very occasionally, white wine is made from red grapes. This is done by extracting their juice with minimal contact with the grapes' skins. So this is the main difference between red and white wine. What about rosé? Rosé wines are either made from red grapes, where the juice is allowed to stay in contact with the dark skin long enough to pick up this very pinkish color, right? Or, which is less common, by blending red wine with white wine. Okay, White and rosé wines extract little of the grape tannins contained in the skins. The orange wine, I don't know if you have ever heard about it, okay, is wine made with maceration in the mother of rosé or red wine production, but using white wine grapes varieties instead of red. Right, so I think that's so far so good. I know I'm giving you lots of information, but this is so interesting. Now I'd like to talk to you about the main 5 characteristics to describe wine. We have sweetness, acidity, tannin, alcohol, and body. Also, we need to take into consideration, it's very important, the terroir. Terroir is a French name which means like the land, okay? Because of course each land and so the vineyards has a unique combination of climate, soil, and geography, and of course this impacts on the taste of the wine, okay? Also, very important to take into consideration is the aging, okay? Because the aging process also impacts a wine's profile a lot, okay? So young wines might be more vibrant and fruitier, while aged wine develop like more complex aromas and flavors, definitely. Right, guys, so characteristic number 1, the sweetness. So the sweetness refers to the level of residual sugar left in the wine after its creation. So a sweet wine will have a higher level of residual sugar, while a dry wine will have all of its sugars converted to alcohol during fermentation. So where does sweetness come from? Okay, the answer lies in fermentation, because yeast consumes the sugars in grape juice and transforms them into alcohol. So if the winemaker stops fermentation before all the sugar is converted, you get sweeter wines. And leave fermentation to run its full course and you'll have a bone dry wine. Number 2 is the acidity. So acidity is crucial in wine, especially whites, because it impacts, it gives this sense of like freshness and zing, right? So high acid wines are refreshing, crisp, and mouth-watering, right? It's like having water in your mouth, enhancing the overall drinking experience. Often, the acidity is confused with the high concentration of alcohol. A wine's acidity is what gives its sharpness, okay? So high acidity wines are often tart and zesty, like the zest of a lemon or of an orange, right? And may feel lighter bodied as they come across as like a bit spritzy, right? A well-balanced wine, it's so called as it has acidity, sweetness, and tannin in perfect harmony. How can you identify acidity? You'll feel it in a tingling sensation on the sides of your tongue, and your mouth will also feel extra wet. It's like at some point you have all like saliva, right? And acidity comes from the grape itself and the climate where it is grown. Number 3, tannin. We hear it all the time, and so but what all of this is, right? Tannin. A wine high in tannin is often mistakenly labeled as a dry wine because tannin has drying effect on the mouth, right? Frequently described as astringent, tannin is the presence of phenolic compounds that add bitterness to a wine. So tannin primarily comes from grape skins, seeds and stems, as well as from oak barrels during the aging process. The thicker the grape skin, the more tanning potential. Tannins are vital in red wines. They can taste bitter on their own, but vary in effect based on their integration with other wine components. Okay, descriptions include astringent is when you have high tannins, and firm when you have moderate tannins, dry feel, and soft when you have very low tannins, and it gives you like this smooth feel. Number 4 is alcohol. So I'm going to give you a bit the average of the alcohol percentage in wine. So wine alcohol percentage levels will have the biggest impact on wine's character, body, and classification. So the average wine contains around 11-13% alcohol by volume, but it's not uncommon for wines to have as little as 5.5% or even go up to 20%. Okay, everyone tastes alcohol differently. A lot of our perception of alcohol is actually influenced by genetics. So higher alcohol wines tend to taste bolder and even oilier, while lower alcohol wines feels lighter. It's almost universally agreed, however, that alcoholic wields a warming sensation at the back of the mouth and throat. There. Alcohol is directly tied to sugar levels in the grape at harvest. Okay, the riper the grape, the more sugar and the more potential alcohol after fermentation. Let's go to number 5, which is the body of the wine. So the body of the wine refers to the weight and the viscosity of wine on the palate. Okay, so here, full-bodied wines have intense textures and flavors. Medium-bodied wines offer a balanced middle ground, and light-bodied wines are refreshing and tingly. It helps to think of a wine's body like milk. Think about milk. You have the skimmed milk representing a very light wine, and cream representing a full-bodied wine. Okay, as a rough rule of thumb, if a wine taste lingers in your mouth for more than 30 seconds, it's almost certainly a fully bodied wine. I would like to demonstrate you something, right? So with red wine, yes, it's opened, sorry, but I took it for this podcast, and I just wanted to show you something, right? When we just pour wine, okay, so what do we do? So we need some aerating techniques, okay, which could include this rilling, that's the one, okay, and decanting, okay. And what I wanted to talk to you about is that, I don't know if you can see it, but if you do this with red wine, you will have some legs creating on the glass, okay, which in Italian we call them like degli archi, okay, sul bicchiere, and these are inside the wine, and they indicate the alcohol content. So the more prominent the legs here, okay, the higher the alcohol. So guys, there's so much more to tell you about. I don't want to be that long, but if you agree, if you want to know more, I will be so happy to do like a part 2 of these episodes of the podcast. So remember, always with red, white and rosé, like drinking and eating, it's all about the full experience. Okay, when you have a glass of wine, I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't know anything about wine, because anyway, you have your smell and your taste. Always smell. Okay, with red wine, it's very important that you do this. Okay, it's not only to see like the legs on the glass, but really, it's also to give air. Okay, to the wine, decanting the wine. Then you smell it. It's very important, and I will prepare for you a second episode where I'm gonna talk to you about the smells, the bouquet that a wine can have. Right? Smell it, because it already gives you something. Okay, and then you sip it. Okay, please. Wine is not beer, right? You sip it. And you taste it. Okay. So you don't have to be a sommelier to appreciate wine. I am not. Okay. I love it. And all the things that I know now, it's because back in the past, I've tried loads of wine. I asked around. I went also to do some little trainings. But really, you just have to like it at the end of the day, right? Guys, thank you so much for listening. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know here in the comments your favorite wine, if you prefer red or white wine or rosé, sparkling or like still. And I thank you so much for listening, and cheers. And keep following here on Slango, living the language. Cheers, guys.